guilty feeling as well in a certain sense.
In terms of not being there.
Not being there or part of. So
it's a moral issue.
Moral,
yeah.
Guilt.
So their family there.
Yeah. Oak, you can say.
Yeah.
So, yeah, guilt from kind of Christian, I don't know, or Indo-religious, whatever.
Yeah.
But the second generation, they have a different way of, relating to the Sri Lankan problems, although they understand, but they are not fully involved in those things, because for them that Britain or Canada or US, or that is their place, and they have their own problems about their own identity in a different, not like us.
No, of course, that's different for the community.
So it's very, very complex, that
Yeah, I'm not sort of thinking that we are going to solve all the issues tonight. That's not sort of my aim with this, but it's interesting for me to hear different points of views of these things.
Carrying on from what he said about the community centers, he said, why is it that there are so many community centers? The community centers arose initially because lots of refugees started coming. If you see, before the war started, and there were some Tamils who came here to settle down for a better economic life, they didn't set up community centers. Mainly the people who started setting up community centers were people who came during as part of the whole refugee influx. And the problem is they needed help. They couldn't do their benefit forms. They needed their immigration applications sorted. They needed so much help. So and the state here is not going to help you. So you needed community organizations to help you to sort these things out, to negotiate with the British state on so many different aspects. And then those community centers, they, when lots of people come in every day seeking advice, then they will do something cultural there to bring them together, to have a good day out, to enjoy. And then, of course, the nationalist lobbies here, like the LTT, they came and took over the community centers politically. And then those community centers fell in line and started doing things to satisfy the LTT's political agenda. Almost all the community centers, almost all of them became compromised politically. Initially, many of them were started by local, like ordinary Tamils who just wanted to help each other out. That's how it all started. And that's very important to remember. It's just a very simple reason for why there are these community centers. There's nothing.
I know why they're there. That's not my question, but is it more of the label of them that I was thinking, but there was something shared there. But you're also saying that cultural issues.
Oh yeah, if we get together, when I came here, Sabis and I, we have been in plays together, we have done music programs together, we do that. That's just, cultural practice, when 15, 20 different people get together. My children, they always say, why is it at Sri Lankan parties, you're always singing old film songs? We can't stop it. As soon as we get together, after about 1 hour, we start singing. And clapping, but we don't dance, so they always ask us, you guys don't dance,
That's useful. So we started talking about Tene, and that was put down.
No, I think.
Then we addressed the issue of Tamilness. The views are that it is a politically motivated, politically constructed. There is a reason for it to be promoted as a thing. So Tamilness is questioned by the audience, which is good. But now we are getting into the cultural practices. Tamil bits comes out of that, songs and things like that. Coming out of it. I think we should get into that discussion. Before we go into that, I have a question, just to provoke. What brings all of us here? Obviously, not all of us are from North or Tamils or Tamil-speaking people are here, Muslims are here. So what is it bringing us together here, if not something to do with Tamil? Language or culture or what? Is there a useful question for you? Like-mindedness. Give us, can you expand on that?
When you look at it, people who have a different idea from the Tamil nationalism or sort of LTT brand of Tamil nationalism, then they become a sort of a vociferous and vocal because they are looking at a different way. Whereas this is well organized, everybody talks same. But here there will be difference of opinion, difference, but we seek the truth. Or we seek the like-mindedness, that's a way. We don't just go under as because somebody say, this is the Tamilness or this is the things you accept or leave it. So when that type of people, they are the people who are really brought a proper discussion about the Tamil people. And that is why I see since 1980s in this country, that sort of people are the people who really brought up issues relating to the actual Tamil people than the so-called nationalists. Because you want to use that Tamilness or nationalism to promote their ideology, no, I won't say even ideology, promote themselves.
Yeah.
But whereas people who have come from different area, different system, because now as I'm a Muslim, the Tamil, I might be able to join together, fight that situation. But there is not joined, you are forcibly, oh, you are Tamil because then you have to say this. This is what we want you to say as a Tamil.
Yeah.
What you want to say about your culture is this. But here there is a freedom. So we have a difference. We always join together, divide, go back, because we have a criticisms among us, whether we do right or wrong. So that sort of freedom was there in the group which are working like this.
Yeah. So that's what you seek by coming
Yes.
to this particular group. Yeah.
Yeah? Raj?
Firstly, you asked the question, why do we come here? We do that not only in England, people, groups of people, communities of people meet like this everywhere in the world. Even in Sri Lanka, we have done this in villages. So, and what is it? Is it essentially Tamilness bringing us together? I don't think so. Either in Junam and Jaffna, if people get together to discuss a political issue or literary issue or inadequacy of books in the library or something like that, those type of social activities linked to the cultural aspects of people's life, people get together. And probably they develop a culture of togetherness, which can sometimes be termed Tamilness. Especially if you ask me, why are we meeting together? How is it that after a long time, people are, every 2 weeks or every 4 weeks we are meeting together, about 10, 20 people, and discussing various things. This community, whether local in terms of Sri Lanka, or expatriate or diaspora, it has gone through a historical period of oppression and threat to their freedom of expression. It was so pervasive in old society. People didn't meet together, get together to discuss anything. Anything that happened was political. The absence of meetings like this was also political. Fear, sometimes to avoid trouble. Now we will find that since May 3 years ago, you will find a large number of book releases. Every week, Tamils are writing books and they are being released. You didn't find that as a phenomenon before. Now there is a release of freedom, as it which is influencing people to get together. And they will get together. Not on the basis that people got together in Trinai and Kurunji and Pali and on that basis. I don't think people who lived in the mountainous areas in 2000 years ago, if they live now, say in Vaunia, because they are living in mountain area, they will have some togetherness in the mountainous area of Canada. There is no togetherness developing in that sense. That is why I think we come here every 2 weeks, the question you asked me.
Yeah, I just want to... sorry.
No, because we are talking about ourselves and we as a group are so much against politically constructed Tamil identity. That's fine. But there are, in exile, there are various groups who engage in politically charged Tamil identities and stuff. So how do we explain this fragmented cultural practice, and how do we explain this fragmented Tamil identity that is, at one... in one area it's very politically charged, but we are not that politically charged. We practice a very flexible Tamil identity. But how do we theorize it? How do we explain it? I think that's that's where Cheran's theorization kicks in.
Good question. Can I also just add?
That's where Cheran's?
That's where Cheran's theorization kicks in. I'm not saying it's a good theory, but that's where the theorization kicks in.
I think for instance, I myself and I think quite a few of the Tamils here would agree, and of course we have been organizing this, and basically these are Tamil, we call ourselves Tamil language speaking community. So these meetings, monthly meetings, are organized by Tamils and Muslims together. Now if you go to other groups in London which are organized by Tamil nationalists, now it's very politically identified, okay? You will not find these kinds of Tamils, Muslims and Sinhalese meeting together, but here in this context you would. And the Tamils here have called themselves dissenting Tamils, or in Tamil what we call ourselves Matu Karathu. It doesn't actually mean dissent, it means the alternative view, Tamils. So because the diaspora Tamil social life, everything has been so organized and micromanaged till very recently by the LTT apparatus in lots of different ways, that people who did not agree with the LTT had to make a stand and carve out a different place for them. And now those people can talk to Sinhalese, felt that they want to talk to Sinhalese and Muslims and everybody else. So, but that doesn't alter the fact that I am a Tamil. I am a dissenting Tamil, but I am a Tamil. I like to eat fish curry the Jaffna way, where I was brought up. I like to make my fish curry the Jaffna Tamil way. That's how I like it. And I like to, I agree. I like to speak in Tamil with my children and all of that. And I enjoy reading in Tamil or whatever. All that sort of thing is there. But that is. But
Why
that
is it there? Why is it?
No, that is because of my background. That's how I was brought up. I was brought up to eat rice and curry, and I still have to have rice and curry. And I still have... And you talked about landscape, and that's very interesting because many of us have a real problem with the heavily urban landscape. Because we all come from a village area which is very green, or not maybe green, but quiet roads. And I know lots of my even younger friends, particularly men who came from the villages, they have told me, I can't stand my life in London. I would love to go and do some farming in English, in the English villages, but unfortunately I can't do that. I can't go. I don't know how to go and buy a piece of land and do farming in Suffolk or Norfolk or Yorkshire. I don't know how to do. I know quite a few people because they feel really in a dysfunctional space here. But my children, on the other hand, are perfect Londoners. If they go to Sri Lanka, they love it there, but they won't want to live there. They love it there. They love the quiet. They love the village streets and all that. But they are Londoners. They like the throb of the metropolis. They love the late nights walking around the city and going on the tube and going to park. They have a different. They are real Londoners. Mm-hmm. So it's about how you were brought up, what you were used to, and I still So this is. Yeah. So it's just that and nothing more. I don't think we should attribute and make it into anything more, this so-called Tamilness.
No,
That's
but
all it is.
Yeah, but what you're saying then also makes sense of saying that it's very difficult to readjust to a new landscape, that what we are brought up with is very strongly part of us, and to be in this in-between, it becomes an in-between space because we can't really adjust to this different landscape.
I don't think about the Tule ever.
No, but now I'm not talking about landscape as Tinai. If we say urban landscapes, that's not part of Tinai. That's just London. That's London.
The discussion has moved
Yeah.
to, starting from Sangam period,
Yeah.
we touched on culture, we have moved now to urban.
Yeah. The here and now.
We are here
kind
and
of
now.
thing. Yeah.
You, our children, what are we making, how we make sense of this?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then probably we want to go into the visual practices.
Yeah. How is
We
it?
got
We have
Fausa
to-
said
We have the 6:45.
6:45.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
20 minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
I just wanted to add something as well about my sort of theoretical take on identity and whatever it's called, Tamil or something else, that I see it as a process. Culture is a process for me. It's not something fixed and bounded. So maybe I need to clarify that so that you don't think that I see you as in a box with these letters describing you. It's there is a construction of identity that sort of changes historically and cross geographically and so forth. So there's always an interaction between different
Well, you
parties.
can't give up eating rice, that's very important.
If I eat rice.
You can't give up eating rice,
Uh-huh.
It's an important
Yeah, but food seems to be quite an important issue for lots of people, I think, in terms of
And fish
how we
curry cooked
relate.
in a particular way.
Yeah. But I'm thinking, because I have this interest also in visual expressions of culture, and I mean, you talk about there are so many Tamil books being published at the moment, and there's lots of Tamil poetry, and there is a Tamil drama, and there is a music, and singing, and so forth, dancing, but there is very little of the visual arts. And I mean, there is a history, Tamil history of visual arts as well. And I don't know whether you have any thoughts or feelings about why is it like this? Why are so few Tamils involved in visual arts? I mean, there is no art and culture centre, for example, that people can go and exhibit photographs or paintings, and why is...
That is not true. There have been people who have been performing arts programs and having Balendra does that.
Visual art.
No, but I mean like two-dimensional visual arts, like those on the table over there.
Oh,
So yeah, I mean dancing
Paintings.
is also visual, of course, but I see that there is a difference in how people relate to this visual arts. That very few are engaged, and it's not sort of considered as a good future to sort of have that as an occupation professionally. And I don't know whether you have any ideas of why. I mean, have you ever thought about visual arts?
Facilities.
There's a lack of facilities or institutions
Or, I mean, focusing on that, because people look at as a Tamil who it is, his life is being narrowed down to studying, going into some professions, and marriage. That goes. So it's a very narrow path we are going in. So we have very little time for this, and also comparatively to the other society, we have lack of facilities on that aspect.
Yeah.
To look into that, photography, all these. If there are talented people, okay, they might keep going to a certain level. Because I know even in London there are art societies and art studios run by Tamils. But they are not the Tamils of the original things. They are all London born and based, and their thinking is not like me, because even though I'm living in London, but I'll be, as he said, I'll be going the same route of fish curry and fit to my children. But whereas